CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Snowing about as heavily as we have seen since sunup, as the Steelers and the Bills are about to get this started. The Bills won the toss and have deferred. We'll be kicking to the Steelers in a moment. First, let's go to the sidelines and welcome in Tracy.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Tyrod Taylor has received a lot of criticism lately, but Rex Ryan told us it's a little bit unfair because he hasn't had his full complement of weapons. Well, today, for the first time since week 2, he will have his top 3 wide receivers out there. Robert Woods returning from the knee injury. He will not start. Marquise Goodwin will, but he will be out there. Sammy Watkins playing through that foot injury. He will be out there as well. But the X factor, the snow and the wind, it's coming down here, guys.
Yes, it is. We've had 2 straight weeks. We were in Green Bay at Lambeau. It never stopped last week. You can see it feels like it's 18. And I think it's gusting even heavier than 9 down on the field, according to Tracy. And we expect the snow to go on through the night and into tomorrow here as the game is underway. Carpenter kicks it to Fitzgerald Toussaint, who takes it at the 1. First contact at the 20, and we'll bring out Roethlisberger and the Steelers at the 22. Roethlisberger 3-0 in his career against Buffalo. He could hit some milestones today. He's already reached a 3,000-yard season for the 11th consecutive year, and 3 touchdown passes away from 300, which would tie him with John Elway, one of his boyhood idols. B.J. Finney starts for Foster, who's out with a chest injury. And Le'Veon Bell, his numbers huge in just 9 games of action. He's 83 yards away from 1,000. Antonio Brown starts in the backfield and gets the quick dump off pass and picks up only about 3. Gives us a chance to check Dennis Thurman, the defensive coordinator's defense. Duzable will start for Kyle Williams, who's a scratch here, inactive with a back injury. That's a big loss for the Bills. Alexander has been quite a find in his 10th year. He's got 10 sacks. And Darby is up in this secondary with Gilmore on the other corner. 2nd and 8 here for Pittsburgh, as Bell is in a slot to the right and takes the pass and picks up the first down. Quick throw and a gain of about 10. Le'Veon Bell averaging over 6 catches a game, and he's just almost automatic to get you over 100 yards from scrimmage every game.
Gotta wonder, did this catch the Buffalo Bills by surprise? The hurry-up spread offense where the Steelers the last 3 weeks have been running the football from Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. Ben Roethlisberger's been under center.
And here he is again out of the gun. 3rd straight play is looking to pass, and it's over the head of Hamilton. Kobe Hamilton was the target. And the Bills were alert to that play.
So, you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they came out in this offense. Why do you want to do that? You want to settle the crowd down. You want Ben Roethlisberger to get rid of the football quickly, to take care of the rush, some of the blitzes that Rex Ryan loves to throw at you, and most of all, just to catch them by surprise. They did for that first down. Now Buffalo organized and ready to go.
2nd and 10. 4 plays, 4 passes, and this one over the head of Green, who had a monster performance last week against the Giants, his first career 100-yard game.
Well, let's do 2 things. First, let's watch the pass protection. Green's to the left. Nobody around, no pressure on him. And Ben Roethlisberger, a little upset at himself because watch Green as he goes down the field. They actually got him double teamed there, or 2 defenders near him. He got open. Roethlisberger a little high with the throw.
4 different targets for Ben on the first 4 plays. He's now facing 3rd and 10 as Green moves around. Goes back to Bell. Bell with an opening. But then right into a Bills wall, and he breaks out of it. Look at him go inside the 50. Down to the 40. And out of bounds at the 35. Looked like they had him bottled up, and he just bounced out of it and picks up 32.
From the outside, it's going to be a screen to the right. They love these 3rd down screens. It just Le'Veon Bell just swung out of the backfield, and they were blocking the receivers, everybody downfield. This offensive line can get out from the run position and get outside and block for screens better than any team in the league.
But the Bills looked like they had him stopped 5 yards short of the first.
Nobody could grab him.
That third down play, so a new set of downs from Buffalo's 34, and it's over to Brown. And he's shoved out by Roby Coleman, and it's going to be a loss of about 3 on that play.
Boy, you know, you're just talking about keep him on the field, tire out the pass rush, caught him off guard, and, you know, not that Ben Roethlisberger needs it, you know, quick throws to get his confidence going, but just to get the rhythm. And Jim, if you're on the defensive side, you know, you can't sit over and do anything elaborate because you don't know what's coming next.
Well, they haven't run it once through 6 plays.
Who's this remind you of coming out on offense? This is something the Patriots love to do to opponents. They did it to the Bills earlier in the year. I'm sure the Bills took some of that information, put it to use here in today's game.
And Ben is upset that he had to use a timeout before that 2nd and 12 snap. So some alignment issues for the Steelers.
Oh yeah, and quarterback was upset. That's no doubt. Ladarius Green lined up wrong first. Then he had to switch Eli Rogers from one side to the other. Cost him a timeout.
2nd and 12. Here's their first rushing play, and it's Bell spinning and taking this one for about 15 or 16 behind DeCastro and Gilbert. And again, for a while there, it looked like there wasn't a whole lot, and it ends up being 16 officially.
Yeah, here, just watch these linemen. We bragged so much about them before the game, talking about this offensive line. They make their blocks, and they get out in front, and they're physical, athletic. They can run. Of course, Mike Munchak, offensive line coach, Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, everything, doing a great job with this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line.
Well, Bell has 58 total yards on this opening drive. It's down with time. And it's a completion to the tight end, Jesse James. And it's good for about 5 to the 15, maybe 6.
You know, just you can already see that it's this tempo and what they've done. And, you know, I had to think, too, Jim, that the snow on the field might slow him down. There's Mike Munchak. And Todd Haley said what he's done to the offensive line. Of course, he has great credibility when he walks into a meeting room because they know who he is, being in the Hall of Fame. But he simplified everything and just made this offensive line more aggressive than before.
And the former head coach of the Tennessee Titans, 2nd and 4. And that's picked off. That's Alexander with the theft out to the 40 on the run back, brought down by Pouncey. And the Buffalo defense comes up with a big play here on the opening drive. Alexander jumps right in front of Green.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Amazon Prime. Get free 2-day shipping on millions of items. And by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level.
Off a takeaway now, ready for their first snap from the 40. Short drop, Taylor decked at the 35. To it, the first to get to him.
Well, no doubt there's a difference in what they're supposed to do here. Roethlisberger, man, look at this. The snow coming down. Throws the football quickly. Ladarius Green went in and pivoted back outside. And I think Ben Roethlisberger expected him to stay where he was.
That was the first red zone interception thrown by Roethlisberger since a game in 2014. He had thrown 32 red zone touchdowns since his last red zone pick. 2nd and 14. McCoy shifting, trying to get around Burns. And he goes out of bounds after a gain of only 2. Taylor, he's only thrown 11 touchdowns this season, but he's a leading rusher for all quarterbacks in the league. He's close to 500 yards. It's all about running the football here behind this offensive line, led by the likes of Richie Incognito, who made the Pro Bowl a year ago and likely on his way again. McCoy, he's only 51 yards away, making 49 now after that last carry from a 1,000-yard season. 3rd and 12. Taylor down the field and incomplete with no flag. Intended for Goodwin.
You got that series of plays, a couple things. One, LeSean McCoy breaks it outside. You saw the speed of the defense. They can run you down. And also on that 3rd down pass, they had Ryan Shazier watching the quarterback. So if he breaks the pocket, they're going to have somebody there to run him down.
Colton Schmidt to punt it to Antonio Brown. Brown averaging about 11 yards per return.
Beautiful.
Big hang time, but it's returnable. And Brown beats the first tackler and then runs out of room on the sideline at about the 28. 44-yard boot. Each team's had one handle. First quarter at Buffalo. Each NFL team nominates one player for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, presented by Nationwide. This honor recognizes players who make an impact on the field and in their communities. Congrats to Arthur Moats and Eric Wood. They are the nominees from each of the teams. And the winner will be announced at the NFL Honors Award Show February 4th. You can learn all about it. NFL.com/Man of the Year.
Well, here comes the Steelers after that opening drive. Now they come out in a traditional offense, I formation.
And they hand it off to Bell. Wiggles to the left side, and he's got a gain of 2. Arthur Moats makes regular visits to the Ronald McDonald House of Pittsburgh, uplifting everybody's spirits there. But he recently even announced he's matching any donation to the charity up to $55,000. And Eric Wood has set up his own foundation to provide seriously ill and physically challenged children daily encouragement and life-changing experiences. Both very deserving individuals for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. 2nd and 8. Long ball time. Looking for Brown. And he makes the catch with a defender, Darby, right there with him. Somehow it landed right in the basket for Brown. Gain of 40.
Best long ball combination in the NFL. You get man-to-man coverage, bottom of the screen, and they have not done this in the first drive. No man-to-man coverage defenses. As soon as they get up near the line of scrimmage and they show this defense, what do? They throw it deep. Beautiful throw. Great catch by Brown. And that's a small receiver making these contested catches down the field. What a job so far this year by Antonio Brown.
And he just pinned it against the face guard. I mean, Darby was right there, had a hand in there. Somehow it all came together for a big gain, and that's incomplete. Trying to go back to Brown. He's the best as far as results and stats this year, the best long ball thrower in the league this year.
How about that? 25 completions when the ball is 21 yards or more in the air. First, attempts first, yards third, and 12 touchdowns. So, hey, you got to worry about the run game. So many things to worry about with this Steelers offense. But what I love is the fact that the league is about big plays, and Todd Haley gives Ben Roethlisberger a lot of chances to do it.
2nd and 10. Back to the gun. Pump fake going long. Double coverage back to the end zone, and almost a second pick for the Bills.
Wow.
But unable to hold on to it. Corey White. Ronald Darby was back there. Brown was the target.
Well, it's a bad read. Watch Brown go down the middle of the field. And look who's standing right in the middle. That's Corey White, the safety. Roethlisberger never saw him. Got away with it.
So now it's a 3rd and 10. They don't gain anything from here. They've got concerns in the kicking game. They do have Chris Boswell up today, as well as Randy Bullock. They've got 2 kickers active. Boswell coming off a strained abdomen injury. Here's 3rd and 10. Stepping up, getting rid of it. Got the man he wants. And they've got a first down to the 11. Ladarius Green with the catch.
Well, it's all about his pocket presence. Ben Roethlisberger, they give him the protection, but it takes a long time for this play to develop, so he steps up, drops his arm, throws it sidearm to Green, and I'll tell you, Green, before this is over, they can, every week, he's going to get better and better. Had ankle surgery during the offseason and is slowly working himself back into game shape.
After serving 4 years as Antonio Gates' backup in San Diego, coming here as a free agent. A late arrival on the field there for the Buffalo defense as Bell gets the carry, and he's down to the 2-yard line, maybe the 3, as the Bills were out of sync.
Well, just watch Le'Veon Bell here, Jim. Watch how he goes. It gives a little stutter move. Watch the blocking up front. Marquise Pouncey and Finney, the left guard for Ramon Foster today. Excellent job of double teaming, getting the block. Le'Veon Bell read it, picked up the yards.
So a 2nd and 2. For another option. And it's wide of the mark. Tightly covered there by Gilmore. Brown, the receiver.
Yeah, tough coverage. It was Gilmore. It was tight. A lot of hand fighting. Good no call. On the outside, he tried to go inside. Nobody was there. A lot of hands by Gilmore. But it doesn't really, he doesn't hold Antonio Brown back, so.
Now Brown's already with 6 targets, 3 catches, including the big one to get him down here. 40-yard gainer, but it's 3rd and 2 from the 3.
Well, they got everybody up. They're going to make him throw the football into the end zone.
Hand it off to Bell. Goes in sideways and drives to the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Well, they had everybody up, daring him to throw it, and they run it, and they get it done because the offensive line just stays with the block. And that's what they do so well here at Pittsburgh. Once they make contact, let's see if he gets in the end zone. Yeah, he's way in, not even close. But once they make contact with the defensive lineman, Jim, the lineman, it's like they got Velcro. They can't get away. That's why you see Le'Veon Bell always making those stutter moves at the line of scrimmage. He just has to wait until they drive him out of position.
So they bring out Boswell for the extra point. Barry on the hold, and that kick is good. Well, Steelers early, all about Brown and Bell. Brown's 40-yard reception set it up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Intel. Upgrade to a new PC with powerful performance.
Yeah, just trying to clear the lines as Jim Kelly looks on from the Buffalo sideline. He had dinner last night with Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I tell you what. He'd say this is a great day in Buffalo to play. He played in some severe weather games up here and played well in.
These two are great pals. Here's the run back by Tate, and the Steelers are all over him early as Nix comes down to tackle him well short of the 20. It's going to be at the 14. NFL on CBS is now on CBS All Access. Stream your local games live. Go to CBS Sports. Actually, just go to cbs.com/NFL now to try it for free. And they've been on a roll here these last 4 games, and having won the last 3 coming in here. This includes this one. The last 4 games, 29-0 first quarter.
Hey, offense got this thing going. We saw the defense go 3 and out. Special teams hot.
McCoy jammed, maybe 1. Pittsburgh defense without Hargrave on that defensive front. McCullers got the start. But Dupree moves into the starting lineup as well. 2 rookies in the secondary, Phil. Burns and Davis, who got credit for a half a sack on the Bills' first snap of the game, along with Tuitt. 2nd and 9. Buying time and a second sack. It's Dupree, who we mentioned moved into the starting lineup ahead of Chicolo today, and that's twice they've knocked down the Buffalo quarterback for a sack.
Well, they're going to dare him to throw. Here's Bud Dupree, and this is the difference for Tyrod Taylor today against most defenses he sees. This Pittsburgh Steelers linebacking core, they can all run. Shazier made the tackle before, so when he gets out of that pocket, find a receiver, get rid of the football.
3 times they've had dropbacks, the Bills, and 2 of the 3 times they've been taken down for sacks as 3rd and 13 sets up this pass. It is intercepted. Bounced up into the arms of William Gay, and he has the return for the touchdown. 6 of his last 7 interceptions have now been pick sixes.
Receiver slipped on the route. That was Robert Woods. He was open.
Holding. Number 28 to number 25 defense. 5-yard penalty automatic. First down.
Oh my goodness. The flag hidden in the snow, and it is coming back, denying William Gay yet another race to the end zone.
Not sure he said the foul was on. Could have been Artie Burns, number 25. But that time, good protection. Tyrod Taylor had time to throw it. The field could be an issue because Woods turned around, slipped. The football was right on target. But that's what caused the interception.
Boy, what a sudden change of events. About to be 14-0. Now you got a new set of downs off a 3rd and 13 pick play. The offense has done nothing so far. Running the option. Here's the pitch. Dangerous. And that's Reggie Bush who was able to snare it and go out of bounds.
Well, we watched practice on Friday. They were working on this option. I go, oh, I don't know if this is quite the team you want to run it against. But they do a good job there. They get a few yards. But especially in these conditions, against this speed, fake inside, here comes the trailer. They do this a lot of different ways. With a lot of different people, they run some wildcat on the offensive side. Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator, just trying to find ways to get some yards for this offense.
Pete Marilli, we're not able to hear him in all this weather for some reason, but he has passed along now. There was a flag on the Bills on that last play. It was on Marquise Goodwin. Pete Marilli.
A little fight going outside between Marquise Goodwin and Artie Burns.
Draw. And again, the Steelers all over it. LT Walton coming up. Ryan Shazier. Tracy, let's go down to you.
Well, Jim, an injury to the Bills' offensive line. Cordy Glenn, the left tackle, is out right now with a back injury. His return is questionable. Cyrus Quandro is in place of Glenn right now.
Quandro, the 3rd-year player out of Alabama, taken in the 2nd round back in 2014. 2nd and 15. Taylor in trouble. And they got him again. And nearly a safety.
Again, Stephon Tuitt gets in there, disrupts the pocket. And I think it's Bud Dupree helps pulling down. So this offensive line having troubles. This side, here comes Bud Dupree. Stephon Tuitt makes him step up.
Sean Davis is
Sean
there.
Davis.
Yeah, Sean Davis
safety.
Was already in on a half a sack earlier.
Well, that just shows you something, doesn't it, Jim? The safety up near the line of scrimmage. They are coming after this pass protection. And they're, like I said once, they're daring Buffalo to throw the football down the field. There's Ryan Shazier. The knee, let me just say, it's healthy. The way he is running to start this game.
3rd and 23. And able to get about 7 yards back.
It's Bud Dupree back in the lineup today.
McCoy walks off the field with this offense, getting a chorus of boos as it heads to the sidelines.
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought Pittsburgh last week played physical. They were emotional. I asked Mike Tomlin last night, can you do that for 4 more games? And he goes, it's that time of year. They can smell it. Great start so far by the Steelers.
Schmidt. Up to midfield. Brown going wide, now cutting in to the 44. And another flag on the field. Bills offense has gone stagnant like it did in the second half at Oakland last week. This team had a 24-9 lead on the Raiders and then squandered 29 unanswered. A stretch in which the Bills offense did not even pick up a first down during that 29-0 run.
They're getting attacked. If you're getting attacked, you
During
got
your
to
return, holding. Number 14, receiving team, 10-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
You got to throw some quick passes to back this defense off.
So the Steelers, the Bills have been completely manhandled here in this opening quarter. -1 yard total offense versus 134, and the Steelers right back at it. And a completion for another 6 or 7 to Green. Tomorrow on CBS, deck the halls and don't miss the holiday episode of TV's #1 new comedy, Kevin Can Wait. All new tomorrow, 8, 7 Central, only CBS.
Yeah, this is Kevin James weather here. He'd have his shirt off if he was in the stands. He'd be up here.
No question. And we've got an injured
Zach
Buffalo
Brown.
Bill linebacker in Zach Brown, their leading tackler. And Zach Brown walking to the sidelines. He's going to be replaced by Ramon Humber.
As you watch this offense so far here today, you know, Rex Ryan told us he'd like to sit back and play a very careful, safe defense. I think he has to. If he starts blitzing Ben Roethlisberger, then every throw you got to hold your breath that it could be a touchdown. So try to keep the safeties back. Hope your defensive line and linebackers can stop the run game when they decide to run it.
Their 5th time running it, and it's Bell for the first down. They've thrown it 14 times, now run it 5, and they got another first.
That might have been the longest hesitation I've ever seen by a running back, just waiting to see what happens. Todd Haley has to give a few runs out there to let everybody rest, but what a job he's done. Think about how Ben Roethlisberger's career really has changed since he's become the offensive coordinator. More diverse, gets rid of the football more, doesn't take as many hits. Offense just more explosive also.
Bell, he talked about previous play, his hesitation. He has that down better than any back in the league.
Well, he can trust it too. You know, it's not like they're crashing in on him, and it just goes to show you, one, his patience, how much he's changed as a running back from Michigan State, and how good this offensive line is. Like I said, they make contact with defensive players, and that contact stays for quite a while.
38 yards on the ground for Bell, including a touchdown, another 42 yards on 2 catches. That's 80 yards of offense in the first quarter alone. 2nd and 6. And a completion to Eli Rogers, about a yard short of the first.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger does have gloves on today. Something he said he might not do unless it was really windy or whatever, but I guess this snow, just a better grip. Used them one day in practice this week just in case. So far, the football is coming out of his hand great.
Last second, first quarter, they don't get the snap off in time, do they? No. And Zach Brown had returned to the Bills defense after sitting down for 2 plays. First quarter, it was all Pittsburgh. 7-0 Steelers after 1. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It's a winter wonderland in Orchard Park, New York. Second quarter about to start. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson. Steelers got a 3rd and 1 in Buffalo territory. 3 for 3 third down conversions so far. Dominating the line of scrimmage. We'll go to Bell. Stacked up. And even with a flying Bill over the top, they may have kept them back. They did.
Looks like it's going to be short. Good job inside. That time it was Coleman. I thought DeAndre Coleman who really caused this run not to work.
Look how fast they are to the line. A 4th and 1. Steelers almost got the Bills to jump.
Changing the play because so many people up near the center. Look at this 4 defenders from guard to guard. Has to change the running play.
Still got 6 on the play clock. Here he goes. Out of the backfield. Well, no, there's the pass to Johnson. Look at David Johnson. The backup tight end with the first down. No one on him.
Yep, what a check. That's why he checked to the pass play, because they were all crowded inside. So the play action fake, throws it out there, and Ben Roethlisberger, he said, I have complete control of the offense. Mike Tomlin, hey, put it in the hands of my QB. He trusts big number 7, no doubt.
David Johnson was lined up on a wing to the right and uncontested. Easy pickup, 4th and 1.
Look at that. Ben Roethlisberger said that's what he loves about this offense. He has so much flexibility to change plays.
Fires it, and incomplete near the 10. Looking for Jesse James. Already all 3 Pittsburgh tight ends have caught a pass. They carry a 4th with Xavier Grimble.
You know, he tried to throw it in rhythm. Now, when he watches this, he could have taken his time and really just set on it and driven it right into the body of Jesse James. And the footing, Jesse James made it look like it favored him. Was tough on the defensive back that time, Corey Graham.
2nd and 10. Gets it to Rodgers. He got right around Brown and then is stacked up by a couple of Bills. Pushed back by Darby and company. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, you know, Jim, just again, let's just watch Ben Roethlisberger as he drops back his original look. It's not clear, but then he can wait for Rodgers to go all the way across the formation. And Brown doesn't even try to slow down. He can't get his footing.
Yeah, it's like he was on skates.
It was. He just kind of skated out of bounds. And Rodgers, what a job he's done coming in for all the injured receivers. He's got a chance and has really done well with it.
3rd and 1. And Brown, the target, yes. Brown at the 10. Pushed out at the 8. Bumped out by Corey Graham.
Well, this is the play you see every day for every team in the NFL. He's going to come across, come back this way. They fake the run play here, and then Roethlisberger throws it to the right. Bill Walsh started this back in 1979-80 with the San Francisco 49ers, and everybody in the league has copied it, and it's run about 100 different ways in the NFL.
When the Bills have faced their opponents with a goal-to-go situation, they've given up touchdowns 15 out of 16 times in goal-to-go occasions. 1st and goal to go for the Steelers. And Bell is in for the touchdown, finding the end zone for the 2nd time already today.
Bell, Brown, Ben, it is true. It just, everything evolves around these 3 guys. And man, when they get their chances, the blocking up front, oh my gosh.
Boy, did Darius get taken out. He was crunched under.
He got beat. Finney that time. The reserve block coming in from Ramon Foster had a great block.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there was high praise for Finney from Coach Mike Tomlin last night. In our meetings with him, Boswell's extra point is good. I mean, Darius is one of the best run stoppers in the league. That's him on the ground right there. It's Bell having a huge afternoon of 2 touchdowns. Not only a couple of touchdowns for Bell, he's got 6 first downs in the game. The Buffalo Bills won
by a penalty. Still a first down by the Bills, but they got it on a return touchdown called back because of holding.
And Tate will not run it back. That was Boswell who kicked it 5 yards deep into the end zone. All this talk about how the Bills have to win out. Man, they have come out flat here today. They have been dominated at the start of this game.
Well, you know what? Yeah, they're flat, but the other team, let's say it, they're playing great. And they came out, I saw it last week, really maybe not for the first time this year, but just the emotion from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they came out with that today with skill. Man, that's a tough combination.
See if the Bills can put anything together offensively. They run it. McCoy. This is their best play thus far for about 9. Let's check in with Tracy Wolfson.
Jim, Steelers safety Mike Mitchell back out of the locker room. He was on the bike for a while. He right now is standing on the sidelines. It's a left knee injury. His return is questionable. They will not change that to out or keep it at questionable or let him go back in until after the quarter. So we'll have another update for you after the halftime.
All right, Tracy. They've been getting great play out of the rookie, Sean Davis. Second and 1, and McCoy has the first. Shazier wraps them up, but the Bills earned their first down, as you mentioned, by penalty.
Well, I know the Bills. They want to get Tyrod Taylor.
We got 3 scoops of hoop next week, Phil. Memphis and Oklahoma, and the CBS Sports Classic. 2 great ones. Ohio State, Kentucky, North Carolina. Is there at UCLA as well. McCoy to the 44.
Sean McCoy, no matter where you put him, he's a great matchup. That wide receiver came out of the backfield that time against Sean Davis, the safety. Good rhythm throw, get rid of it quick. That's what they want to do, and that's what Tyrod Taylor did that time.
So the first completion of the game for the Bills. For Taylor, goes for 9 yards. Call it 2nd and 2, actually. He tries to take off, still on his feet.
Ryan Shazier. Oh.
That's Timmons as well.
Yeah, but Keith Butler, defensive coordinator, said if he wants to run the football, here's number 50, watch him react. And he goes, if he's going to run, we got tremendous speed, especially at linebacker to make the tackles, and we got to make him pay. There were some pretty good looks that time. Lawrence Timmons, you said it too. He has been on a tear at linebacker also.
That's the 4th sack for the Steelers. 3rd and 3. Taylor got it away, got the first down. Sammy Watkins. There's a lot of hope about the wide receiving core being healthy with Watkins and Woods together for the first time since week 2.
Challenge flag by Mike Tomlin. Boy, that was quick. See, I don't know of any red flags. He thinks the pass is incomplete.
The ruling on the field of a completed catch. Timeout.
It happened right in front of him. Challenging whether it was the catch. Oh,
good eyes.
Yep.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Audi. Kay Jewelers. For 100 years, every kiss begins with K. And by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost.
Well, the Bills already know the Steelers are going to win this challenge.
The ball hit the ground. It is an incomplete pass. 4th down. Reset the game clock to 9:43.
And that is a huge drop by Watkins. Would have had a first down. Now they have to send the football back to the Steelers.
Yeah, first down near the 45-yard line or near midfield. Takes the momentum away from the Pittsburgh Steelers and get their offense going. And you're right, huge drop.
Schmidt the punt for the 3rd time. So they reset the game clock, add a little time. And Brown stands back near the 15-yard line. Off the side of the foot here. Almost landed into the stands. Came off a mediocre performance last week at Oakland, and Schmidt here sees this one go out at the 25, just a 32-yard punt. Roethlisberger is moving in on top 10 position all-time passing yardage in NFL history. He needed 205 coming in. He's already got 150, so 55 yards away from overtaking Vinny Testaverde and moving into 10th all-time on the pass yardage list.
Well, he's a tremendous rhythm thrower, and that's one of the reasons why in these bad weather games he still controls the football very well, just because it's just so smooth. That way he doesn't slip out of his hand.
Another late arrival on that defense. Hughes late to get out there, but the Bills defense makes the stuff. It's Washington at the line of scrimmage.
About the third time we've seen somebody run out there where there's only 10 guys on the field at the last second for this Bills defense.
What's up with that?
Well, they do a lot of stuff. They have, you know, when you say a package where these guys go in, this other group comes out, they do that a lot. So you got to be on your toes on the sideline at all times. And I guess you'd say the players they're just not ready.
So the rare stop of Le'Veon Bell.
Now the Steelers have done it.
As they bring Kobe Hamilton in late. Turbo! 1 second on the play clock. Got it off in time. 2nd and 10. Time to throw. Intercepted! Intercepted by Gilmore. And they've come up with 2 picks in the first half.
This time, this is Antonio Brown's fault, because plenty of time to throw the football. Watch on the outside. Roethlisberger looks to his right. Now break it out. Oh, he's on a curl. Roethlisberger throws it outside. I'm got to backtrack a little there. He might have run the right route, and Roethlisberger just read it wrong.
Gilmore with his 5th interception of the season and a 31-yard return.
Yeah, that's that's one of those. I thought you were breaking out, instead he curled, but when you see Antonio Brown, when I saw their route, it was so distinct.
1st and goal. Handoff. McCoy, and he's tripped up by Shazier's having an active start to this one.
Well, we've talked about him, and Shazier, I watched him last week, and I go, oh, he's just, he had a little brace, I think, on his knee, wasn't as fast, and what a difference a week makes. He is flying around the football field.
What a sudden change of things here. And the Bills 6 yards away from getting back into it. I mean, sure, it's just the first half, but they've been so dominated. McCoy at the bottom of the screen. Taylor. Incomplete. Woods, it hit the ground first.
He's breaking the pocket. They close on him so fast. Stephon Tuitt, a defensive lineman.
And you may have heard Pete Morelli in the background. There was a holding call against Buffalo on that play anyway.
Yep, goes through his hands. I think the holding was on John Miller. Pete Morelli is in and out with that system, so.
Now, and I've got a goal-to-go situation back at the 16. Get all that movement on the defensive line. Underneath they go. And they crash down to about the 8 with McCoy. 3rd and goal coming up from here. Rex saying when we met with him on Friday, we don't have guys that you think are going to be that threatening in the red zone, but we've done pretty well with it really this year, our red zone touchdown percentage.
Well, the guy that's caught 4 touchdowns, Justin Hunter, is in the slot to the right.
Yep.
He's the biggest or tallest receiver, one of the reasons why they throw it to him down here.
It is 3rd and goal. And it's a touchdown. Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins, good job, move him around. That time they take him from the outside, they put him in the slot, and he just goes down and you got Sean Davis, a safety, covering him on that type of route. He can go inside, outside. No chance for Sean Davis.
He has seen Jim Kelly there come over and give a tap and congratulations to Taylor with that throw. It's just his 12th touchdown pass of the season. He had only 2 in his last 5 games. Carpenter's extra point is good. Able to cash in on the takeaway by Gilmore. And then a 3rd and goal from the 8. It's Watkins. That touchdown was the Bills' first conversion on 3rd down in the game. They're being out-yardaged so far, Phil, 195-34. But one play by Gilmore turned things around here.
Well, they got 2 turnovers on the defensive side, and that little throw by Tyrod Taylor can give you confidence to get your offense going.
Toussaint at the goal line. And tumbled down at the 25. Good tackle there by Roby Coleman. And here comes the man that just made the interception back onto the field. Wednesday Survivor, the final battle in the culture war clash. 3 millennials versus 3 Gen X. Which generation will deliver the sole survivor? It's the season finale, followed by the live reunion show Wednesday, 8, 7 Central on America's #1 network.
Well, you talk about Rex Ryan and Rob Ryan, and we talk about their defense. So far today, I have not seen any blitzes. They're sitting back and just try to react to the play. So a couple of those reactions have worked because they have 2 interceptions so far here today.
To Bell. A stiff arm on the way to a gain of 6.
Well, really the difference in this game, 2 interceptions, 1 going in to score. And the other one, which led Gilmore, his interception, led to the score by the Buffalo Bills offense.
Bennett thrown only 1 interception in the previous 4 games. But he's got 2 thrown in this first half. And it's the 3rd 2-pick game of the year for him. He gets 25 touchdown passes. Here's Bell. He's got the first down. Thrown down at the 39. And it was Green who helped launch him with a nice block.
They're going to get some of these runs, Jim. They're going to let them run a little. In other words, you got to pick what you're going to do. You can't be too aggressive. They usually are, this Bills defense, but that gives up big plays. So, hey, hope that front can stop the runs, get them in some 3rd down situations, then make the play.
Bell reaches 100 yards from scrimmage with that last one. Go back to him again. He's got another nice game for 11. And again, B.J. Finney, and they've seen 67 out there leading the way. A younger version of Ramon Foster is what Mike Tomlin said to us last night.
Yeah, that's saying something when he's because Ramon Foster has really had a terrific year and did a great job that time making a block. The defense was sitting back. Ben Roethlisberger says, well, if you're going to play that way, I'll give it to my guy.
Foster inactive with a chest injury. Tomlin says Finney, he's going to be doing this a long time, playing in this league. First-year player out of Kent State and drafted free agent a year ago. Here's Roethlisberger improvising and incomplete. Trying to go to Green again.
Trying to make a great throw. You know, there's a fine line, and he knows where it is, Ben Roethlisberger. In other words, you know, Tyrod Taylor, very careful thrower. Likes to see the guy open, then checks to make sure he's open. Ben Roethlisberger, hey, I'm not going to say he's a gunslinger because people think that means he's reckless, but he's aggressive, an aggressive decision maker, and he trusts what he sees because he knows he can throw the football where he wants it.
At the top, Brown. Gilmore on him. Gilmore saying this week he relished the chance to be matched up blitz. And Roethlisberger has to just get rid of it. Alexander was one of those breaking across the line in a hurry.
Yep, he came from the inside, and this was perfect timing. Caught Ben Roethlisberger by surprise. White, Graham, Alexander all on the blitz.
How about Alexander getting the chance here in Buffalo? Someone that Rex Ryan had said he wanted him for a long time in this league. Changed his physique, changed positions. He's played defensive tackle, defensive end, special teams, and now outside linebacker, making a lot of plays.
Yep, what a story.
And there is a flag. And the Bills say that's a pre-snap penalty on Pittsburgh.
False start. Number 77.
But you talk about Alexander, just a couple things. He goes to Washington. He weighs 315 pounds. They bring this guy in named Albert Hainsworth. He goes, okay, that's not going to work. So he lost some weight and went outside. So he loses all that weight. What happens? They draft Brian Orakpo. So everywhere. Then he goes to Oakland, and well, you know the story. Then they bring in this pretty good player
from the University of Buffalo.
Yeah,
named Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
He lost all this weight, though, about 70 pounds.
Yep.
He said, I had to adapt or die. If I had to stay in this league, it's the only way I was going to do it. He's found his way. He's already got a pick in this game. 3rd and 15. In the middle and incomplete. Good coverage by Gilmore. Again, Gilmore said during the week he wanted the matchup.
Well, of course he does. All corners like that, but I like what they're doing here today. Stay to one side. When you match up, that means you got to move around. You never know where Antonio Brown's going to line up.
Yeah, the 40-yard pass he caught, he had great coverage on it, but it was Darby who was on him on that play that set up a Pittsburgh touchdown. Punt by Berry, first time in the game, and it bounces in with a touchback. Just his 3rd touchback of the season. Net of 36.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. And by Macy's.
Some Bills players recently taking a group of youngsters from the Northwest Buffalo Community Center and the Boys and Girls Club to a Sabres game against Calgary. See Terry Pagula, the owner of the Bills, owner of the Sabres. Let's see what the Bills could do coming off a touchdown the last time they had it on a short field. Very short field off the interception the last time. There's a McCoy run for 4.
You know, this is a good offensive line the Buffalo Bills have, especially when it comes to run blocking. And they can do a lot of things in the run game. Probably the most sophisticated, complicated run offense in the NFL.
2nd and 6. Got Watkins. And Cockrell rides him down. But the Bills offense suddenly looks like it's got its confidence going.
Well, they got what they want. Sammy Watkins outside. Cockrell's playing off. Runaway technique. Throw these short passes. Quarterback giving more confidence, and most of all, getting in rhythm.
Mike Mitchell back in the secondary. Tracy reported he was out for a while, and Clay has the catch. And knocked down at the 45.
This is kind of what we saw in practice on Friday. You know, Tyrod Taylor just catching the ball, throwing it. Buffalo, a lot of zone defense for a couple reasons. That's what they like to play a lot. They have blitzed of late, but a running quarterback kind of settles their defense down a little, play a little more conservative.
2nd and 3. Boy, wow, what a hit. Shazier, who else?
Well, how many times can we say it? 50, number 50 in the middle, just has such great freedom. And he's so fast. Oh, it just goes right underneath. James Harrison, we said something to him last night. I said, yeah, Shazier, he's that knee's not quite as fast. He goes, well, we'll kind of said to us, well, we'll see. So I guess during the week of practice, he picked it up, finally over the injury. See the little brace he has on his right knee, but it doesn't slow him down.
3rd and 3. 2:40 to go in the half. Incomplete. He had an open man. The pass was behind him, Woods.
Well, he was trying to throw it because Woods is running into trouble. Let's see exactly what the timing looks like. He's hooking up. Well, the football just gets there, and a little before Woods is ready. But those things happen to a team like Buffalo because they're not a passing team. So the timing, the little things you need to really be great at it, they miss it.
Schmidt backs it down inside the 5 and tumbles into the end zone. That's his third touchback of the year. Just a net of 35. Steelers have 2 timeouts, 2:24 to go, and the Verizon halftime report will be coming up shortly back in New York. Scores and highlights. JB quarterbacking the crew through some of the early action. Cincinnati jumping all over Cleveland. A lot of people thought the Browns might get their first win today. Head home against Cincy, down 20-0. Houston and Indianapolis a key tilt in the AFC South. The Texans up by 7. Tennessee on top of Denver.
You know, I got a little beef with you. Talking to JB today. Oh, he's nice and trim in the studio.
Looks great.
Out here, we picked up Wade, our winter coat. What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, I included myself in that, just to make you feel better. 1st and 10. Bell. 2 wiggles, make it 3. And a spin move to boot, and another gain of 12.
Wow, they're crowding the line of scrimmage, the Buffalo Bills. In other words, they got the extra defender up there, and they still handed off the Bell to get this big gain. And what a luxury. You're backed up. You don't know what to do. You can still hand it to your running back and get a big first down.
2-minute warning. Steelers lead at 14-7. We're back. 2 minutes to go, first half. Steelers lead at 14-7. Got a couple of timeouts to play with. Bell just having peeled off a 12-yard run is 8 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. Roethlisberger to Rodgers. And Nickel Roby-Coleman first to get to him.
He's made a couple good tackles today. Roby-Coleman, not a big guy at all, plays the slot defender. Does a really good job, good player. Excellent tackle.
Second and 4. And it's Bell. Patient again, not breaking outside. All of that for a gain of 2.
Yeah, I think as the game goes on, no, still the first half, but you can see this Buffalo Bills defense gaining some confidence. In other words, okay, we've seen what you got. They're being a little more aggressive, playing up to the line, bump and run coverage, which early in the game they showed none of.
Moving inside of
right here.
Moving inside of a minute with 3rd and 2. Again, Roethlisberger has time to find options. Down deep. And a flag. Graham thinks it's against Brown.
It is. Good coverage that time. Everywhere I looked.
Offensive pass interference, number 84. Penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Good time, good job that time by Corey Graham, staying to where he's supposed to be. Has the inside part covered, and Roethlisberger made a good read, tried to throw it across the field. But Antonio Brown got there and pushed Corey Graham for the penalty.
So now the Bills get the ball back with about 40 seconds to go and all 3 timeouts. Tate picks it up on the second hop. And then runs into the likes of Dangerfield and Medikevich. 45-yard punt.
Well, let's just go back and revisit some of the things that go on in the first half. Screen play to Le'Veon Bell. Got to get your arms around him, bring him down, makes a big play. Touchdown run, just the push of the offensive line. Nice cutback for the other touchdown. He's an all-weather player too, Michigan State. He's played in some tough weather.
There's a Screen pass, McCoy. The flag out.
Jordan Mills, right guard.
Holding. Number 76, offense, after this to the goal, first down.
Called on Miller. Again, the Verizon halftime report is coming up. Back to the crew in New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower. Scores and highlights.
I was going to say, if I was the Bills, I think I would kneel on the football and let the first half end. It's 14-7. You can't believe the score is just this.
As McCoy gets pushed back. Look at Cockrell on him. Cockrell, who came into the league as a Bills fourth-round draft pick in 2014, and they let him go.
Well, they thought they might be able to take advantage of him here today.
There's a timeout called by the Steelers. They still have one more to go.
Yeah, but I'm just going to make them snap the football.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
See, if Mike Tomlin, well, if he'd have turned down the penalty and kept it at 2nd and 10, then he could use his timeouts and maybe force a different situation. But they accepted the penalty, then it makes it first down, then it makes those 2 timeouts almost useless.
The clock is set at 11. Gillislee is the tailback.
False start, number 85, offense, after this to the goal, still second down.
Called on the Clay.
I think I'm going to get a job when this is over upstairs advising coaches. I like that. You know, I'm a great second guesser. And, you know, it's easier up here than it is down there.
You're the second guessing business.
Oh, you're not?
Oh, Gillislee. Able to rip off a good run with only 4 seconds to go.
Boy, Gillislee, a good-looking running back, isn't he?
He is. Had a 2-touchdown game last week at Oakland.
This time, let's watch what happens. Oh, Shazier, number 50, went around the back door, and when he went around, Gillislee quick sees it and gets out there and picks up yards, but 4 seconds to go in the first half.
It was the longest play for the Bills. 22 yards. And Gillislee with another nice run, but that'll close out the half. Give him 12.
That was Richie Incognito. Haven't heard from him. I could hear him make the hit as he pulled around that time from the left guard position.
Bills deferred, so they'll get the third quarter kick headed their way. Roethlisberger throws for 162 in that first half, but a couple of picks. Bell, 77 yards on the ground, another 48 on 3 catches. That's 125 yards total offense and 2 touchdowns. Tracy Wolfson, down to you.
Thanks a lot, Coach. With that second interception, you can see the Bills defense kind of gain momentum. So how do you counter that?
We just got to take care of the ball. It's not about them. It's about what we do and how we do it. We were a little negligent with security of the ball in the first half. If we're better, we should be fine.
How much has the weather affected things?
We're not concerned about the weather. Both teams got to deal with it, so it needs to be irrelevant.
Thanks a lot. Jim?
Well, the weather has, though. The snow has certainly lightened up from the way this game started. But Tomlin and his team go to the locker room up 7. 14-7 Steelers. And we're back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. It's a 14-7 lead for the Steelers. They clear the field here at halftime as flurries continue to fall here. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. What do you expecting here? Buffalo gets the football to start the second half, down 7. Could have been, as Boomer was talking about in the studio. This thing could have been really a much bigger halftime margin. A couple of picks kept them in the game.
Could have been. Like the weather, they weathered their storm. The snow is slowed down, the field is clear, and I think that's what you say about Buffalo. They had to go in the locker room with a lot of confidence. They kind of figured out what they wanted to do on defense. Tyrod Taylor got a few easy completions, so I expect them to play much better on offense in the second half.
And again, these teams coming in with the Steelers tied with Baltimore for the North Division lead in the AFC, while the Bills at 6-6 really feel like they have to win out. Win all 4 games to get to 10-6, and that still could possibly not be enough because of all the tiebreaker situations.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of motivation. It truly is playoff football, and you expect to see the best from the football teams. I think what we're seeing, too, early in the game, we saw a more emotional Pittsburgh Steelers football team, and the Bills finally caught on and caught up, made some plays and got back in this game.
Well, the Steelers certainly seem to be hitting their stride here in December. They've won 3 in a row, come into the weekend, tied with the Ravens, who will be playing at New England tomorrow night. And Pittsburgh will be hosting the Ravens on Christmas night. And then in the wild card picture, and there's just so many scenarios, you most of the time think it's going to be 2 teams out of the AFC West. Denver's down to Tennessee right now at the moment, but you got Miami's up at halftime. You look at all these records, and again, there's Buffalo at 6-6.
Right.
They really can't afford another loss.
Well, as we saw or heard Mike Tomlin give an interview to Tracy Wilson before half, he's a great interview. He had a great way of saying about this time of year. He goes, that road to Houston is getting narrower as we go along.
Yes.
So true. It just gets tighter. And look what they did to this field at halftime.
Yeah, they scraped it. The rubber pellets got pushed around a little bit. And boy, in the end zones, they need still to do a little maintenance work. First half numbers, 239 total yards of offense for Pittsburgh. And they really contained LaShawn McCoy. 10 carries for 25 yards, 2.5 of clip for McCoy, who came in averaging 5.5 per carry. Tops in the NFL average per rush.
Of course, that was a little concern that Hargrave, their good rookie, who's played so well, he's out today, so they're definitely short a defensive lineman when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills, those couple runs at the end of the half, maybe gave Anthony Lynn, the offensive coordinator, a few more ideas that they might keep trying that Pittsburgh run defense to see if they can get their run game going.
So the officials aren't quite set to get this started as they continue to try to do a little maintenance on the edges of the field. All the special teamers are lined up and ready to go. You got Boswell. He's been bouncing around, ready to kick it off as they shovel now the rubber pellets that came up during the halftime effort to try to clear the field.
Well, the field looks clear. I think Pete Morelli, I like to see his yard. It must be immaculate. He wants this thing perfect. We got a little, well, all the end zones, we see a little of the pellets. There's big Jim Kelly on the sideline.
Looking at Jim Kelly, there was a good story that came out of our meeting with Ben Roethlisberger last night. He has such respect for Kelly that when Ben's wife Ashley delivered their 3rd child, Bodie, back in this past May, Ben made a phone call to Jim and said, I'd like to talk to you. I can't text you about this. I saw Jim in the locker room before the game today. He said, I had no idea what this was going to be about. And Ben said, hey, we were thinking we wanted to use this name anyway, but I really want to do it as a tribute to you. We want to name our son Bodie. We want to name have his middle name carry the name of your son Hunter. So the Roethlisberger's 3rd child is Bodie Hunter Roethlisberger.
That's a great story. Great respect. Ben Roethlisberger loved him growing up and plays a lot like him too, don't you think?
Some similarities, no question. They brought the players off the field. Tracy, what are you hearing down there?
The big issue, too much rubber now down on the field. You can see along the sidelines. It's just too much. Guys were actually writing letters. Here's a 0. You should see right over here. and they're trying to shovel it off. They may bring the tractor out also to clear it. You see guys clearing it with their feet right now. Just too much rubber down here as they cleared the field, guys.
Well, you got it basically off the playing field here. This is what was happening earlier. See all these little rubber pellets.
Now what they're concerned about, players running out of bounds.
That's it.
Stepping on this,
Yes.
these piles of rubber or whatever that substance is, and slipping and falling and hurting themselves. Unsafe.
They have conditions are perfect. Those little pellets are able to really soften the effects of playing on turf. Everybody's getting into the act here. So we're going to take a little break here while they continue to try to get the field in shape. Well, the players, as it turns out, could have spent a little more time in the comfort of their locker rooms, and they're bringing back out now the tractors to go to work here.
Well, I guess you sit there and go, well, what's the big deal? Well, it's a big deal. You know, you got the safety of the players. We talk so much about it. It is, you don't want somebody to slip on a surface that you could clear it up.
Last year, the Steelers had a game in St. Louis that was delayed for about 10 minutes because some of the fireworks before the game set the field on fire. You might remember this.
I do.
It took about 10 minutes before the field was playable. Well, there was no slowing down in the first half. Bell and Brown.
Well, Bell, Brown, and Ben, you know, they make it all happen for the Steelers. What a throw here early in the game by Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell just continues to prove week in and week out, one of the best in the league.
.174 yards of offense between those two. And Tracy, we're bringing the players back out onto the field now.
That's exactly right, because the key was all of the rubber had to be off the white part of the field. So the blower just came out and it blew all the rubber off the white part of this sideline where I'm at, on the Bills sideline. They said the Pittsburgh sideline's okay. It looks like we're ready to play, guys.
And after all that, they cleared the field, and now the snow has come back.
Here it
it's
comes
already starting to collect.
I even saw Tracy with the shovel down there. She said, hey, she wants to get it moving too, because she's down there standing in this cold wind, the snow. Jim had his hot chocolate, in case you wanted to know,
right.
Tracy, at halftime. Marshmallows.
Electric blanket. Boswell's kick to the goal line. Tate, long-time return to this league with New England and Cincinnati, gets chopped up. Good tackle that time. Again, Roosevelt Nix has made a couple of plays on special teams. And Tracy, what did you hear at halftime from Rex?
Well, Rex was obviously upset with just 93 total yards offensively, but the 63 rush yards really frustrated him. He said, we need to run the ball better. We need to get first downs. And he said, expect us to go a little bit more up-tempo, no huddle in this second half, Jim.
Okay, so they got a little rhythm going in that second quarter. What an option. There's nothing there. He dives back down at the line of scrimmage.
Now, they tried this play in the first half. They handed it off a couple times, got some good gains, but the option play, just too ready for it. 4 linebackers out there, all can run.
Look at number 77 back out there, Cordy Glenn, their left tackle.
That's a big deal. It gives the quarterback more confidence. They don't have to chip. They were trying to help out there early in the first half when he went out.
Here's Taylor. Tipped, but still, Clay unable to adjust. That ball had been tipped by a Steeler defender.
Shazier got his finger on it. That time he dropped back in his own coverage. Watch number 50. Jumps. Man, great job. And it's got to be frustrating. Couple open wide receivers today. Drop passes, tip pass. Sacking the quarterback to pass the game. And now we got Justin Hunter on third down running onto the field as they break the huddle.
That's Hunter 17 coming into a slot to the left. 3rd and 10. Taylor fires it. Nice catch that time. Watkins pulls it in. First down.
Ross Cockrell on the outside, the ex-Buffalo Bill, top of your screen. Sammy Watkins with a little stutter and move. Boy, nice catch, because that football, when he turned around, that football was on him. Well, you watch him, and I always think the same thing. Man, I just can't wait till he just gets healthy, where he can get more snaps, stay out there for the year, and see what Sammy Watkins can do.
Yeah, you can only hope. That surgically repaired foot. McCoy, he is taken down for a loss. Dupree had him initially, and then Stephon Tuitt finished him off along with a little assist from Cockrell and Davis.
Well, Davis, Shazier, boy, we got some guys really having good days. Here he comes, 28, unblocked. And, you know, those are the type of plays you got to either check out of them, get somebody over there to block him. When you see Sean Davis outside near the line of scrimmage, he's on a blitz. They predicted run, they got run.
It's the 4th time McCoy's been stopped for no gain or a loss. 2nd and 11. Taylor. Able to maybe get a yard out of it. Avoid a sack.
Well, that time he tried to stay in the pocket. I give Tyrod Taylor credit that time. You know, you always hear, oh, he's leaving the pocket too quick. But let's see who's open. Nick O'Leary covered, outside covered. Even when they adjust their route, still there. So Tyrod Taylor did what you're supposed to. Hang in the pocket till you must run. And that's what he did that time.
Taylor, that's only his 2nd rush attempt. The other one was the first play of this quarter. He has nearly 500 yards rushing on the season, 2 carries, 1 yard today. 3rd and 10. Tapped on the line and knocked out. I think Groy was the one that knocked it down to make sure it wasn't intercepted, but Tuitt was the one that got a hand on it.
Here comes blitzers from this side. Watch Gillislee get the pickup. He sees him late and gives Tyrod Taylor a chance to throw it down the field. And once that football was tipped, James Harrison just knocked the receiver down.
Schmidt. It's a good looking kick. Back to the 17 goes Brown. Shakes off a tackle. And taken out of bounds at the 18. 52-yard boot as the weather picks up again. They had to clear the field. Took a while. And now the snow is gathering again. And Santa's coming to town in 2 weeks. Feels like it's 18 here today. Feels like Christmas Day. Steelers first play from scrimmage in the 3rd quarter. Look at Bell. That puts him over 1,000 on the season. In this just being his 10th game, having been suspended the first 3.
Well, they just do. The offensive line, we bragged about him all day, but watch Nix too. You talked about him on special teams. He gets a good block and sustains it, and Le'Veon Bell just waits and just lets the defense separates, and then he runs through it.
90 yards on 14 carries. And that's his 10th first down he's picked up in this game. The Bills have 7 as a team. Double step move, drive ahead, another 5 or 6.
Another patient run, and we saw this in the first half, Jim. Just all the different things they could do. First off, look at the right side off DeCastro, Gilbert getting down the field, getting blocks, and he uses his blockers so well. And then just, hold on, let me just take my time and then go. So, pretty amazing stuff. It's the only guy I can think of that has that kind of style in the NFL.
They brought in an extra lineman, Chris Hubbard. They got David Johnson in there too, who's moving over to the left side. 2nd and 5. James out in front of Bell. He's got the first down. Made it look easy. That's his 11th first down picked up.
Wow. Well, it's the Le'Veon Bell show. What a great thing to be able to go to. How about the Steelers? They start the game out, wide receivers, spread the field, throw it every down, and then they just change into, well, let's be a power running team, Jim. You know, I want to change what we're doing. And just shows you the versatility, the talent.
That put Bell over 100 for the game. 102 on 16.
Kind of makes you scratch your head, Todd Haley, offensive coordinator, to be able to get your team to be that versatile. Of course, it takes a lot of knowledge on his part, a lot of hard work.
4 straight 100-yard games by Bell, who adds to the total with another 3. First since Jerome Bettis in 2004 for the Steelers to have 4 consecutive 100-yard performances.
And that's a big name there, you know. And the offense spread it out. He runs it, of course. Now they got Nix in there. And once he's been back in the lineup, it's kind of changed what they've done these last couple games. You know, the fullback with some teams is still in vogue, and they use Nix as a fullback enough here in Pittsburgh where they bring him in, he's ready to go, and he gets it done.
He's been ready to go on special teams, too, with a couple of tackles to boot. Timeout called by the Steelers. 9:12 to go, third quarter. Pittsburgh moving the football again.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Charles Schwab. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
Our tremendous crew, undaunted by the weather conditions, battle-tested, being at snowy Lambeau last week. 2nd and 7. And a whistle and pre-snap penalty on the Steelers. And as I was extolling all of the great things that Le'Veon Bell has done,
Number 67 offense.
they gave him a 1,000-yard season before he had it.
How close is he?
He's still got a ways to go.
Okay.
Came in with 8-17, not 9-17 on the season, but still a phenomenal effort it's been here today with 105 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, another 48 passing game.
It's like the line in My Cousin Vinny, you just need some thicker glasses.
Yes, exactly. I got to go to plus 200. Forget this plus 150.
Or the snow that's on our sheets right now.
Yeah, it's smudged it. That's it. That's my excuse.
There you go.
My mistake. There he is. Maybe he's going to get it anyway. As he takes off inside the 40 and stiff arms the defender Darby down. Look at the block 2 by Hamilton. And another 24 for Bell.
Well, what happens, you crowd the line of scrimmage, you got the extra guys up there, and then when you break that line, that first line there's no linebackers or the safeties can't come up and react as fast. So they're playing for the pass, they got the run. And Le'Veon Bell just doesn't run out of bounds, he gives some hits.
The leading rushing league team in the league, Bills, with 63, Bell with 129. And to answer your question, he's 54 from the pass.
There we go. I was waiting.
And he's got 5 more.
I see what Mike Tomlin was talking about, B.J. Finney. Look at 67. I mean, he looks like he's ready to play. The Steelers always have a plan. When somebody's hurt, they got somebody to take his place. And B.J. Finney, you talked about him today a couple times. We bragged about him, and Coach did. And good job of pulling out, getting the block.
Foster on hand, watching from the sidelines. The Steelers opened this game with 6 pass plays. Now they've started the second half, their first series, with 6 running plays with Bell. And they just keep giving it to him. Stutter step, and just a couple. We've got an update. Huge game in the AFC South. Let's go back to the studio.
Classic Gore.
Watch Frank Gore take this screen pass from Andrew Luck, keep his balance, take it in. They cut the Houston lead to 16-10, trailing by 6 in the third quarter. You're talking about Pittsburgh linemen and Pittsburgh weather, guys.
Jim, Phil, and Tracy.
All right, thank you guys. What an effort there by Frank Gore as the Colts found themselves down 16-3, trying to fight back. Wild happenings with Tennessee winning. All those teams coming in at 6-6. 3rd and 3. Roethlisberger has the man. It's Hamilton.
Just give this to the offensive line 100%. Watch the protection, and then let's look downfield. The first original look by Roethlisberger. Looking to his left. Nobody's open, but the extra time and him moving allowed the defense to separate so much. But he finds Hamilton for the big completion. Hey, that was stoned at the line of scrimmage. Defensive line made no penetration at all to Ben Roethlisberger.
Back to Le'Veon. Looks around, waits, goes to the 5, another 8 yards, just going the distance here with D'Angelo Williams inactive, missing his 5th consecutive game with a knee.
Well, let's just watch it from behind again. 45 gets in there looking for somebody to block, but just another good read. Nix is trying to find somebody. There's nobody to hit because they've cleared him out. And, you know, Le'Veon Bell was a quarterback, you'd say he makes the right decision where to throw the football every time.
That's a great analogy. He does figure out a way and waits for it, but he picks those spots almost every time accurately. 2nd and 2. Got a 2-touchdown game. He's looking for another one here, and he's got it without him being touched. Le'Veon Bell.
That was an awesome drive. They were just running straight ahead, and that time they weave it back, and they had Nix leading the way. Really, by the time he makes the block, Le'Veon Bell's into the end zone.
Touchdown number 3 for Le'Veon Bell, 149 yards on the ground.
DeCastro sealed off Brandon Spikes, who's the run specialist linebacker for the Buffalo Bills.
Bell had 72 of their 82 yards on that drive.
Wow.
Boswell's extra point, good again.
Well, that'll take the spirit out of your football team, getting it run right down your throat.
They threw it once on that touchdown drive, Phil, the pass to Hamilton. The rest, they just relied on Munchak's offensive line to lead the way for Le'Veon Bell. 8 carries on that drive, 72 yards.
Nothing like an offensive line with attitude. That's what they showed that time in that drive.
Yeah, you definitely saw it there. Bell, the first since Willie Parker, 100-yard game and 3 touchdowns for a Steeler.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Garmin Fitness. Let's beat yesterday. And by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days.
They're bundled up in Buffalo, hoping the Bills can somehow find a spark. Down 21-7. 5.5 to go in the third. Taylor has the time, has the target, got a flag out. Clay goes out of bounds near the 50. Looks like it's coming back. At least the Steelers think so. It was a 27-yard gain if it somehow holds up.
It was a blitz, great protection. Clay against Bud Dupree, tough matchup.
We have an illegal shift, 2 men in motion and 1 didn't get set. Number 11 offense 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Goodwin, I think it was, that went in motion, so they're saying he went in motion before the other receiver was set. I saw it and watched it. I thought it was close. But now, of course, couldn't see the flag because of the snow on the field.
So back to the 20, 1st and 15. Taylor cuts his losses as again Sean Davis has come up from the free safety position. He's been in on a couple of sacks, been around the quarterback a number of times today.
Yep. Yeah, listen, this is not new. This is the new Sean Davis, a rookie, number 28. This time he just hesitated. Again, near the line of scrimmage. Every time he's been up there today, just about every time he has found a way to get into the backfield. But against the Giants last week, made some great tackles. Had an interception one time, and Eli Manning saw him at the last second and threw it the other way.
2nd and 15. Give it to McCoy. McCoy, instead of stepping at 30, and swarmed under at the 31. Week 14 continues later today. Fox has the doubleheader window. Check your local listings. Plus tonight, Cowboys and Giants on NBC. Ravens and Patriots, a good one tomorrow night. Monday Night Football, ESPN.
Our boy James Harrison, who we had a chance to talk to last night, maybe was in on that last tackle, and big old number 92. He's got a second career going in.
A renaissance.
Yeah, here in Pittsburgh, and it's good.
He's making plays like it looks like 8 years ago or something. 3rd down, 3rd and 4. Bills need to do something here. Knocked down, incomplete. That's Cockrell who denied the pass to Clay.
Really well done. Timed it right. Top of your screen, number 31 comes off the outside receiver Woods, saw the throw and was quick enough to get in there and knock it down. And I think they thought they were going to take advantage of Ross Cockrell today, and it's not worked out that way for this Bills offense.
Cockrell has stepped up. Again, a player that was drafted into the league just 3 years ago by the Bills, and then picked up as a free agent last year after the Bills cut him.
There's been a difference in this defense. The play of the corners, Artie Burns, Ross Cockrell, or Sean Davis coming as a rookie safety.
Antonio Brown pointing, looking for a block up ahead. The angle cut off by Schmidt, the punter.
I don't think he's been hit yet as a punt returner. He gets out of bounds every single time.
18-yard run back that time, Phil, off the 47-yard punt. Got to think more Le'Veon Bell is headed your way after the break. Look at Carl Johnson, line judge, like everyone else.
Yeah,
trying to find a way to get through this.
Getting his head down there. I like it. Oh, well, he's from Louisiana, so this is a little different. And Carl used to be the head of officiating here in the NFL. Great job back out on the field.
There you go, back to Bell. Flag out. Took a 4-yard loss, got back to the line of scrimmage.
Offside, number 94, who lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Jim, you're a guy that you've said his name a lot today, so we're going to say it a couple more times.
Rosie Nix.
Rosie Nix, I like that. Just watch these blocks. He's like a lineman. They can't get away from him. Then special teams. You've called his name there a few times. How about that seal block on Brown? And then just let me push a few people in the end zone for my man, Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, he led the way, didn't he?
Gosh. I mean, they got pulling guards, tight ends, fullback that can do it. I had him anxiety as an offensive coordinator what play to call.
1st and 5. Give Bell another big chunk. Another 10. And a good block. Here's another unsung hero, B.J. Finney.
You said it. We got a great view today. We can see these guys. Watch 67 pull around there. And this man can run. Gets leverage. I mean, Le'Veon Bell sometimes is 5, 6, 7 yards down the field before anybody even has a chance to make a tackle. Finney looks like a big fullback, doesn't he? He just got so big he finally had to put his hand on the ground. He's in great shape. Run, boy, he can run.
giving him the football, looking around, looking for something. A wiggle or two and a gain of 3 and a flag out.
Holding. Number 67, offense, 10-yard penalty.
Well, Spinney, we just spoke
Remains
of.
first down.
It is your last chance to vote for the 2017 Pro Bowl. Voting ends on Tuesday night. Just go to NFL.com/Pro Bowl. Vote. Two of the top running backs in the league, and what they've done today.
Well,
4-1 total yardage. Bell.
Sean McCoy just hasn't had enough chances. It seems like the Steelers have had the ball the whole football game.
Bell breaks one. Bell's inside the 40, inside the 30, and down to the 20.
Let's go back. He made a penalty, but B.J. Finney and Roosevelt Nix, left guard and the fullback. Nice block. Fullback. Oh, he trips.
And guess what? You've always said I was ahead of my time.
Yes.
He's got a 1,000-yard season.
There you go. But in one context did I say you were ahead of your time?
Yeah, it wasn't in this one. It wasn't by.
Hey, let me just say this: we're watching this offense. Now, the spread now to the power run game.
And running back in here, 2 sides. Gets it inside the 20. Bell with 192 off that last one that went for 33.
What a combination. This talent. We talked about Mike Munchak, the offensive line coach, Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator. You know, I'm going to say it. I usually don't get into this business, but I will. Don't you think it's about time that Todd Haley gets another head job in the NFL? The league that's void of good offensive coordinators. How many years does he have to do it here in Pittsburgh and show all the ingenuity, everything they do, all the packages, and what he's done for Ben Roethlisberger before he gets another chance?
You got to think it's his time again from the coach of Kansas City. And that time they got Bell for a loss of 1. He was at Kansas City. Haley took him to the playoffs. Matt Castle was his quarterback. Right. We were there for that playoff game.
Against Baltimore.
They lost at Arrowhead. But, you know, Haley was let go by the Chiefs and then came back home to Pittsburgh. A franchise here where his father, of course, was a long-standing executive with this franchise. Dad, Dick, back in the Chuck Noll days.
Well, he's really turned this offense around, and it's helped Ben Roethlisberger really prolonging his career, I think.
Into the third quarter. When you look at the quarter by quarter, the Steelers in the first and third quarters went from left to right, and they outgained the Bills in the first and the third, 290 to 26 yards.
Well, it's almost bewildering when you watch this today and you see the Steelers, the way they play and how they can play. This game's not over. Listen, I'm not saying that, but they are at 7-5. You go, how could they lose 5 games with all the good play we've seen really from both sides today?
Here's a 3rd and 5 to start the 4th. To the end zone. Almost intercepted. That was Corey White who had his hands on it. Ben was trying to target Ladarius Green.
Over the top. Watch 89 going down the middle. He's so tall. We met him last night. Oh, if he throws it to the back of the end zone, he's going to give him a chance. But Corey White was reading Roethlisberger the whole way.
Roethlisberger so excited to have Green healthy. He's not all the way back, but he said watching him, it's like that Lamborghini that's on the impound lot. You can only watch him through the fence. So you just love to be able to get your hands on it, have a chance to ride it a little bit. Flag before the snap. Setting up as a 35-yarder for Boswell, but it was 4th and 5 also, by the way. Oh, and it's against the Bills.
Neutral zone infraction, defense. 5-yard penalty result in a first down.
Yep, it's just fraction inside of 4th and 5. And as Mike Tomlin says, yep, that's going to put us across for a new set of downs. The offense comes back out.
Well, see if we can see who moves. Oh, yeah, inside. I think that's, let's see what number it was.
I think it was Adolphus Washington, 92.
Adolphus Washington, rookie. Third-round pick out of Ohio State. You know, that mistake, they've had some trouble lining up today. Boy, this is just not good.
So now, the Steelers have it at the 12. Bell. Once again, slicing and driving down to about 8. Lorenzo Alexander tackled him. Huge third quarter, though. Bell had over 100 yards in the quarter alone.
Yeah, it's everything. It's his style, the offensive line, blocking, and the great thing is he can do it inside, outside. And the other thing, Jim, he doesn't seem to take a lot of punishment when you watch him. You know, you don't see him getting held up, an extra guy hitting him, and then they go back to that neutral zone infraction. More time off the clock, and maybe a touchdown by the Steelers could really make this game almost impossible for the Bills to come back.
2nd and 6. Look at this weight. Never panics, but there was nothing that developed that time. Got another flag out on the far sideline.
Illegal shift, number 82, wasn't set. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Tonight, a news-making interview with the Prime Minister of Israel. Plus, how effective can TV commercials be? See the one that helped end the war, 60 Minutes. Tonight, only CBS. Rex is saying, you know what, I didn't want to accept that penalty.
Yeah, they're going to, they never.
Correction. Buffalo will decline the penalty.
I never saw Rex or them, Pete Morelli. He did not look to the Buffalo sideline to see if they wanted the penalty. He just marked it off. So good job by Rex Ryan notifying them and getting them. He doesn't want to give Ben Roethlisberger and his offense 2 chances. Just give him 1.
Well, there's nothing that crushes him more, though, than seeing someone run the football on him, as much as he loves to run the football on the other side.
Number
And they do it better than
74
anyone on the
eligible.
season. Not today. But Bell's at 196. Don't forget, Ajayi gave up, well, they gave up 214 to him when they played down at Miami. 3rd and 5. Play action, end zone, and intercepted. That is Zach Brown jumping right in front of Jesse James. And the Bills defense comes up with a 3rd interception.
Yep. He had him fooled. Zach Brown, 53. Watch, he goes in. And look at this quick recovery back for the interception. Great job by Zach Brown. Game-saving play.
Several things worked out there for the Bills. Their offside penalty on the made field goal gave a new set of downs to Pittsburgh, but eventually the takeaway by the Bills as Taylor gives it right back. It's intercepted by Burns, the rookie from Miami. Only the 6th time this year Taylor has been intercepted.
Well, he got what he wanted. He had 2 deep safeties, and here's what you do as a quarterback. All you have to do is read it.
After the interception and during a return holding, number 28 of the intercepting team. It's a 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Burns is the corner to the left side up top of the screen. You got this. You go down the middle of the field, watch the safety split, and you be the quarterback. Look down the middle. I thought he was going there. And not only was Burns in position to intercept the pass, so was the safety.
Yeah,
John Davis is going to be there to get it.
No question. He would have had it otherwise. And And here were the Bills. Before that snap, they were +3 in the takeaway department for the day and down 2 touchdowns. Kind of like what happened with Oakland at Kansas City on Thursday night.
Yep.
It goes way against the odds.
You know, that and just a lot of unsung heroes here today. And maybe this, it gets, you know, Ben Roethlisberger, 3 interceptions. But we've talked about, how about the secondary of the Steelers? I know it's the Bills' passing offense, but this was a story coming into this game. They've gotten better. I think that, and Sean Davis, Artie Burns are 2 big reasons why.
The rookies are growing up. They're getting important playing time.
I mean, how many plays have you called out Sean Davis today? He's everywhere.
He's been all over the field.
We know about their linebackers, and they were down on defensive linemen. They've done a good job against this run defense, or Buffalo's run offense today.
You got a pair of quarterbacks that combined had thrown only 13 interceptions on the season. And now today they've thrown 4 between them.
Well, Tyrod Taylor trying to make a play. Well, they misspotted the football. That's what the holdup was.
Mark it back at the 48.
Number 744,
Give to Bell. He's got a 200-yard game now. Let's go to New York. JB and Coach Cowher.
Detroit making it tough on itself.
Yeah, they're going to get behind again right here. Cravon LeBlanc's going to step in front of this Matthew Stafford pass, return of 24 yards for a touchdown. Detroit in familiar territory, behind in the 4th quarter, 17-13.
I would ask Coach to repeat that again, but let me take it back to Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, but this is what Detroit does. They're just setting it up for another last-minute win. They're behind in every game in the 4th quarter, so it's been their storyline this year. Bell. Another beautiful, look at the hurdle. Some dangerous liftoff, but he lands safely. And he's only the second player to have a 200-yard rushing performance. Ajayi had 2 on his own this year. Bell now with the 3rd one by the second player.
I would get Le'Veon Bell to the sideline if I was Mike Tomlin and go, you know, what are you doing? Jumping up in the air like that. And it's just such a risky play for such a great player.
Now
I mean, I know it's common. We see it every week. It's the new thing. Try to do it, but once somebody gets hurt, breaks an arm, whatever, I don't think it's worth the.
He's averaging 7 yards a carry today. And that one is another good gain. Not 7, but getting 5 with ease, it seems, every time.
Well, this rushing offense for the Steelers, it says it's 17th in the league. That's only because, you know, Le'Veon Bell wasn't there early in the year. They've had some other, they were throwing the football more. And you talked about Rex Ryan, this rushing defense. Rex Ryan, everywhere he's been his whole career. If nothing else, his defense could stop the run. They have not done that this year. They're going to fall for 25th in the league, and they're going to go lower after this game.
Giving up 2 of the 3 200-yard rushing performances, and now the biggest one of the year in the league. As Bell has established that and adds another 3 to his total.
But 2, you know, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, does it, Jim? We would do a game and we'd go, when are they going to get this offensive line straight for the Steelers and get it turned around to help this quarterback? And man, they've gotten it straight, and plus a lot.
They got the line, they've got the weapons with Brown, Bell, Ben, the 3 Bs who haven't been together as many times as you might think over the last 2.5 years. 3rd and 2. Somebody's put the game here and there. Ball 3 at one time. It was a stretch for a while where they had only been together 5 of 25 games in the stretch, where all 3 were dressed at the same time. So stop them short that time. It's 4th down. They're going to bring out Boswell.
Yep. They had every person on defense up there playing run 100%. Mike Tomlin going for the high percentage. Let's kick it. 225 yards.
How about setting a Steelers record? What do you think of all the backs? That's a Steeler record right there today. Oswell, kick, 37, dead center. And Pittsburgh now ups the lead 24-7 with 10 minutes to play in Buffalo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon. The Quicksilver Card from Capital One. And by the new 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Jeep free to be.
Some of the collections from the Albright Knox Museum, the 6th oldest art museum in the United States.
Man, Jim went out to get a hot cup of coffee. Tried to lock the door, but she got in. I don't know how you did it.
Tate. And he is dragged down by Chicolo. Third generation Chicolo to play in this league.
Yeah, how about this though? You know, we talked about it. Sean Davis off the corner. He's got 2 sacks today from the safety position. Good tackles. And then we saw the interception by Artie Burns. 2 outstanding rookies in the secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, they went first 2 rounds with those.
Third round pick was a defensive lineman, Hargrave, who was out today, who's I think played very well too. So they got to be happy about the production. And they're young.
Throw but threaded to Clay.
Well, when you watch the Bills, 32nd team in the NFL passing the football, they put so much emphasis on the running game that it's going to hurt the passing game. Very few teams can do both, the Steelers, but the Bills are nowhere close to that. So when they have to throw, sometimes it doesn't look good. You got to do it in the game a lot before you can expect it to be productive all the time.
2nd and 5. Mitchell, let's see. Taylor buying time somehow. Still on his feet. Dupree just absolutely swarms all over him.
That's the difference. I've said that many times today. You escape most teams. This is a 30-yard run by Tyrod Taylor, but how about the tackles he breaks? 2, 3, but how he ends is what's alarming. The big hit from Dupree.
That Dupree's had a big game too. This is another young defender. Their first-round pick, just a year ago, out of Kentucky. And that's his 3rd sack of this game. 5th overall. We have McCoy slip through a tackle. And McCoy take off into the secondary. What a run by McCoy to the Steelers 40 after the catch. 41 yards, their biggest play of the game.
Well, they try to blitz, or an overload rush, I should say, to Tyrod Taylor's left. And then Shazier has McCoy and then misses the first tackle. Big key in this game today was to make sure they didn't miss those tackles to give up extra yards. They haven't done it much, but McCoy, boy, can he shake it.
He slipped through 2 or 3 tackles to break that one. Taylor just throws it away, and there's a Steeler bearing down on him from behind if he didn't get rid of it. JB, Coach Cowher, another update.
Jim Nantz had prescient remarks about Stafford.
Yeah, Jim, he said you had him right where you wanted him. Matthew Stafford doing his Lamar Jackson impersonation. 7 yards, they take the lead, 20-17, 3:17 to go in the game.
Wow, Phil, your partner can see the future. Back to Jim Nantz.
Oh, jeez. James Brown, you don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, JB.
The last thing
Coach.
we want to hear in this crew.
2nd and 10. Taylor. Again. Oh, it's caught by Clay. And he ducks over and takes off to the end zone for the touchdown.
Artie Burns went for the interception. The rookie we've been talking about misses it. Boy, Tyrod Taylor takes a big hit from Chickillo from behind. And he stays inbound, looks like Charles Clay does. And the Steelers, two of them collided, knocked each other off. Tyrod Taylor, yes, what a drive, man. Boy, taking some big hits. I think Artie Burns just misjudged the arm strength of Tyrod Taylor. He let that one go, and he got there before he could make the play.
And then he got a 41-yard pass play before, then a 40-yard touchdown to Clay. Oh, and it hits the upright. No good. Carpenter's 4th missed PAT of the season. Charles Clay from 40 out. Carpenter's extra point. Clanks off the iron. Boy, they made up a lot of ground in a short time, didn't they? 81 yards over 3 plays. The total drive actually was 5-play drive, 82. But that 3rd down pass play to McCoy gave them a little spark and backed up a short while later by another 40-yard play to Clay for the touchdown. The Steelers collide into one another. But a record-setting day for the Steeler running back Le'Veon Bell, breaking Willie Parker's team record of 223 on the ground. He's at 225, Tracy.
Well, Jim, on that last drive, we saw Le'Veon Bell jump high over the defenders, right into the air. And, you know, you were talking about being smart. Well, Mike Tomlin did go over afterwards, had some word for him. And then I spoke with Dr. Bradley, who said, yeah, I told him to be smart. You're giving me a heart attack out there.
Well, it's not a week that goes by we don't see at some level, college, high school, or pros, where the running backs, receivers, everybody trying to jump over.
Here's Bell. And they trip him up. That's Graham comes up to make the play. Pittsburgh's had the fewest negative plays in the league this year. That's their 45th. That's the fewest by any team. And actually, they're going to give them no gain for that. I thought maybe it was a loss of 1, but they do nonetheless. They're always, in most cases, able to work something out of it. He's moving in, by the way, on the Buffalo opponent record of 228, which belongs to Ricky Williams. Play action fake to Bell. Sideline route. Brown with his first catch since early in the 2nd quarter. And he makes the move right around. A little button hook move past the defenders, including Gilmore for 29.
It's just a great play. Here's why. Because Buffalo had everybody up there saying we are ready for the run, and they've been getting destroyed by the run, and you have the best wide receiver in the NFL, some people think. Look at all the defenders up near the line of scrimmage, and Roethlisberger the whole time knew he had one-on-one outside, and you got to respect the speed of Antonio Brown. So that changed everything right there.
Into the arms of Zach Brown. Next Sunday, the playoff pecking orders start to fall in place. A little doubleheader action. Then you'll see Pittsburgh at Cincinnati early. The main doubleheader game will be out in Denver. New England against the Broncos. I'll all get started with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. Doubleheader Sunday next week on CBS. Well, there you go. Roethlisberger with that pass play to Brown. He needed 205 today. He's got 206. He moves into 10th all time. Passing yardage in league history. And Bell has just established the single greatest rushing mark ever against the Buffalo Bills.
So many good things to talk about. You know, I guess I want to say this. We've watched so much and talked so much about the Steelers and all their good plays. You think this game would have been a blowout, but it's 24-13.
Third and 1 here. The timeout called from the sideline. Tomlin ran down the sideline and called it, leaving the Steelers with 1.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by PlayStation. Every day is the big game on PlayStation. Greatness awaits. And by Subway. Try the classic Reuben, stacked with corned beef. Limited time only.
Steelers with a 3rd and 1, up 11. Coming out of a Pittsburgh timeout, trying to win for the 4th consecutive game. Play action, plenty of time, and now just dumping it off to Bell. Challenges the defender, Ihedibo, head on, and picks up another couple of yards.
Well, just how about the whole play? First off, they throw it when everybody thinks, and I think they're going to run it. Buffalo's ready for it. Now watch Ben Roethlisberger. Here, move on out there so I can drift out here and throw the football. So, and a hit by Le'Veon Bell. Wow. He's a big man. Not as big as he used to be. He was really big when he played at Michigan State, over 240 pounds.
Yeah,
He's cut that down a lot.
He trimmed up when he came to the Steelers, didn't he?
Just made him faster and more dynamic.
2 more and take some time off the clock.
Yeah, how about that? Hey, he needs a 300-yard game, and he's very close. 62 yards rushing. 236 rushing, 62 passing. I think my math's right.
You're talking about total yards from
total
scrimmage?
Total yards, yes, that's what I meant. Yes, sorry.
You're close.
I was a math major.
Yeah, I can't challenge you on math today.
Good.
I've learned. Got my glasses fixed a couple of minutes ago. He's 2 yards away from a 300 total yard game. Might get it here. Nope. The Bills are on in a hurry. So the Bills take the timeout there. Buffalo with a loss is not officially eliminated, but the odds are extremely long with 7 losses. And meanwhile, Pittsburgh appears on its way to a 4th consecutive win. The remaining schedule for them at Cincinnati next week, and then home games against Baltimore and Cleveland.
Well, if they can pull this one out here today, I see 2 really tough battles ahead for sure. You know, Cincinnati, what would they like to play Pittsburgh for? To ruin their season, to take them out of the playoffs if they could. And, you know, of course, we know the Baltimore game's going to be tough. And Cleveland, as you look at that today, they're losing again today.
Yellow 80! Yellow 80!
Here's a 3rd and 8. Darius took a little extra frustration out on that tackle, and a timeout called by the Bills. So it's going to bring out Boswell. The game's not over yet. And again, this playoff picture at the moment shapes up like this. Denver's late in the game down at Tennessee and trailing. But you look at all these teams in the hunt. Miami is leading in the 4th over Arizona by a 2-score margin. And there you can see some of the scenarios too for Buffalo. We'll get into a tie, and they're not favorable for them in some of the matchups from already this year, having lost. Boswell with the kick, 39 yards out, and he's good. Again, they kept Randy Bullock up today, who made all 3 of his field goal attempts last week, just in case. Boswell, who twisted his back on a onside kick drill the Friday before the Giants game, and he just wasn't able to go last Sunday. Bullock came in at the last moment. They flew him in over the weekend. He got a game ball for his performance.
And you know what? He got that game ball, and what Le'Veon Bell said, what? you know,
Oh, is it Antonio Brown?
Oh, it was Antonio Brown. What do I have to do to get a game? I think you're not going to get one today, Antonio. Might go to this running back if they can hold on here. But, you know, listen, one timeout, 3:38 to go. They need 2 scores to tie this up. They got some big plays in that last drive, Buffalo, so. So one thing we've learned in this league, right? It's never over.
Just when you think you've seen it all.
Yes.
I think is what the heading is.
That's a good one.
Atlanta, Kansas City last week. The pick 2. We had one we witnessed down in New Orleans this year.
Right.
It went the Broncos' way to win it. Quick take, no run back. Coming up, the Subway postgame show. Join JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, Coach Cowher. Scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. And once we get these 1 o'clock set of games final, they'll have all the latest playoff standings and scenarios as well. And throws it away. All this talk swirling about, will Taylor be the quarterback next year? Got a new contract in the offseason, had a lot of years and a lot of money on it, but really it was only a 1-year deal with some options.
It's really an interesting thing. You know, I've talked about it a lot this week, and, you know, Tyrod Taylor, his numbers. And I just say, what do you expect his numbers to be when you run the offense they're running, where they're trying to run the football, protect their defense? The run offense is number 1 in the NFL. The only way you get good at passing the football is to pass it a lot in games.
Blitzing again. Taylor unloads it. Watkins. Did he get both feet down?
They say no. Boy, Tyrod Taylor took a shot.
It was Davis again on him.
Davis again on a blitz. He delayed. Let's see if Watkins gets his feet down. I thought he did.
Boy, that's close.
I didn't see a drag. There's a good hit by Sean.
Got the challenge flag out.
Yep.
And again, with only 1 timeout, and you know, you got to do something here anyway. You might as well. It's close enough.
Of an incomplete pass.
You got to go for it.
But
You got to challenge it.
Well, let's see if we see that back foot. There's a drag. Oh, it's a good shot. It's down, and it's going to be a completion.
Oh, yeah. A great effort by Watkins.
Yep. But, you know, let me go back to Tyrod Taylor again. You know, I just say this, and you know, everybody is going to, oh, well, you're just always for the quarterback. You're 2 years into this investment with Tyrod Taylor. With time, the coaching, you know, Rex put his job on the line up here when he brought him up here to change or to form a football team the way he wanted to look like. So are you going to like, okay, let's start over again with another quarterback? So if my thing would be, if this game is over, let's say Pittsburgh hangs on and wins, I would use the next 3 games and make the game plans around Tyrod Taylor. Let's open it up and see if we need him to drop back more, if we can run the offense in a different way and make it even more productive and more explosive in the passing game. You know, you got to find those answers out, because the way you're asking to play now, Jim, I don't think you can answer that question.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. It is a catch. Receiver had control 2 feet down. Ball be placed on the 43-yard line. First down.
And what about Rex?
Well,
his future.
You know, I think it's tied together. I do. I don't see any way. Rex Ryan is here. Are you going to let Tyrod Taylor go and start and go in a different direction with a new offense, with another quarterback, with the head coach? I don't know. That's the way I read it. That's just my opinion. And Tyrod Taylor's basically going to get 2 full years of playing experience under his belt when this is over. So it's hey, look, the league is fluctuates, no question.
There's a throw right into the arms of Woods. He was touched.
Yep, beautiful throw. It was a seam pass. He was hit. There he goes, hits him over the top. Robert Golden's hitting him as he goes to the ground.
That's Woods' first catch. Goes for 29. We got 3 minutes remaining.
We're so happy to have Woods back today, too.
Taylor, unaccustomed to having that much time in the pocket. And scrambles out of it, picks up maybe 1 or 2. No huddling here, so we're losing a lot of time.
Just watch the play. Let it go. Watch the seams. Let's see. Should the quarterback have let the football go? Yes, he could have. That's one of those things that's going to frustrate you. But again, lack of passing. You're going to turn on some open receivers.
And that is Nick O'Leary with the catch. His 9th of the season. The grandson of the greatest golfer of all time, Jack Nicklaus, has a gain of 12. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Subway post-game show is coming up, and JB and all the crew ready to take you through the finals, including Tennessee has gone final, a victory over Denver, 13-10. This one's not over. With 2 minutes to go, the Bills resting at the Steelers' 15. Blitz with the top of the pass. Trying to get to the sideline. See, he does. Made a great effort just to get there and lose a yard.
It's a good thing they had a screen on. Good thing they got rid of it quick because there was another blitzer coming free. He was going to completely wipe out Tyrod Taylor. I think it was William Gay. But, I'm just last thing about Tyrod Taylor. You got to learn, they got to let him go a little. In other words, it's so precise, and it's always don't turn the ball over. You talk about don't turn the football over so much, it makes your quarterback tight. You got to learn to play free and a little looser and make aggressive plays down the field throwing the ball.
2nd and 11, open in the middle of the field. That's McCoy down to about the 3, tripped up by Davis.
Blitz that time, nobody even covering LaShawn McCoy. Good job by Tyrod Taylor finding him.
With the goal, 1:28 to go. McCoy is in for the touchdown.
That looked easy. Richie Incognito, the left guard, pulls around. Watch 64. He pulls, gets the kick out.
He feasted on that block.
He did. Incognito, boy, he's been a great pickup for him the last 2 years. He's playing all-pro. He should be an all-pro again this year. He's been terrific.
All-pro eater, too.
And he likes to eat.
How about the story he told you the other day about the Thanksgiving dinner at the home of Eric Wood, his teammate and friend. Extra point now. Carpenter's last one. Hit the left upright, no good. But that's just inside to get it to 27-20. They had an eating contest on Thanksgiving Day. A bunch of teammates, family members and all.
Well, players like to compete at everything, and he's one of those guys.
So how do you have an eating contest? You have a weigh-in, and then you say when you're finished, you want to declare it's over because you can only get it once. You can only play the card once. Incognito tipped the scales after his Thanksgiving feast, 9.4 pounds added.
Well,
no one admired that effort more than our producer, Lance Barrow.
Yeah, as one man said, he goes, you got to be 300-pound once in your life just to enjoy it. But listen, what a good drive by Buffalo right there. And for Tyrod Taylor.
Well, let's see what can happen here with Carpenter.
All this domination we've talked about, and here we are. It comes down to maybe an onside kick.
And Le'Veon Bell is coming in for the hands team.
Yep. That's right.
Antonio's up there. Hamilton, Jesse James, see them out there. He didn't kick it far enough. Gosh, he shanked the onside kick.
Yes, he did.
Remember, this is a team that carried a kickoff specialist at the beginning of the year, Jordan Gay.
I swear, it looked like he tries to kick it. Yes, he did with the toe instead of like a soccer style. And boy, if you're kicking it with your toe, watch this. If it's just a little bit off, yep, got inside the football, shanked it right. He was trying to kick it with his toe, I guess, to get that extra hop that he was looking for that maybe he couldn't have got if he kicked it soccer style. Well, I know Rex Ryan, that's disappointing, just that you at least want the opportunity to try to recover the onside kick, of course. But
Buffalo only can stop it once.
Well, Buffalo's got great victory for Pittsburgh to come up here. Anytime you come up in Buffalo and win the game, these kind of conditions, you got to be happy. But for Buffalo, 3 more weeks, it really puts them out of playoff contention. I know maybe not 100%, but they're not going to be able to make it. And they got to find out what they're going to do. And I'm going to go back to that. You talk about the quarterback, let him go the next 3 weeks and see if you can see enough progression in Tyrod Taylor where you say, hey, he's our guy for next year and maybe going forward.
Buffalo didn't take the timeout before. Now they will. And Mike Tomlin is just 44 seconds away from becoming the 3rd Steeler head coach with 100 wins. It's the first franchise. Didn't lay claim to that.
You know,
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, coach, you're probably getting ready for your post-game duties there from 92 to 2006. He got his 100th win in a game at Cleveland in 2002. And back when Chuck Noll did it in 1979, his GM was Dick Haley.
How about that? Todd's father.
And the kneel down. Yeah, it looks like there's a second differential there, but Rex already walking over to shake hands. This is the playoff picture as of right now, with Pittsburgh having gone to 8-5 on the season. And Tennessee is at 7-6. Indy and Houston isn't final yet. See, I'm thinking they might have to run one more play, as I was saying. Oh, okay, somehow they've let the time elapse. Okay, you let it go. But the story here, above all, is Le'Veon Bell. 38 carries, a Steeler record, 236 yards, and 3 touchdowns to go with another 62 in the passing game on 4 catches. For Phil and Tracy, Jim Nance saying so long from Buffalo. Let's go to JP in New York.